Stop thinking that you're investing in the stock market. This is crypto. And so, yes, you're going to get a 50, maybe a 75%, 85 or 95% bear market drawdown before you print another 10 bagger during the next bull cycle. That's how crypto moves. That's how XRP has historically moved. And I want to make it very clear because yesterday's video, I talked about the violent drop, the violent next move for XRP. And we talked about the 75% drop. I got to clarify though, I wasn't talking about a 75% drop from our $1.05 price or $1.10 price that XRP was trading at over the past day. No, we've already completed a 72% drop. What I was trying to say and convene was that we only have a little bit left to go before this bear market's over. And I'm going to show you right here on the chart. Let's get straight to no clickbait. I'm not going to make you wait for it. Let's just give it to you straight. Let's roll. 61,000% ROI. If you picked up the low during the 2017-2016 bear market on XRP before it pumped up here. I mean, that's not going to happen again. Probably not. If it did, that'd be cool. But I'm not expecting 61,000% from here. But after that great run-up, you had a 96% drop for XRP during that bear market in 2018. Okay, then XRP off of those lows is going to pump up 1,600% during the 2020 and 2021 bull run. And then an 85% correction during the 2022 bear market. And then it pumps 1,160% during our last bull run from the lows during 2022 down at 28 cents all the way up to $3.66. That was a swing of 1,160%. Now, where does another 1,100% move for XRP take us? I'll show you, but I think it's going to be fun. And so let's break this down for you guys. The bear market's wrapping up between now and the midterms. Do we go below $1? We just don't need to waste time debating who's going to get it right, who's going to get it wrong. It went to $1.01. Somebody said it was going to go to 90 cents. Do you have your order set and are you getting your bags filled? That's all that matters at the end of the day. You have a few months left to wrap up this bear market, accumulate at these levels, and then you'll never pick up at $1 again, by the way. You will never get that 10-cent XRP that you got during the March 2020 event. You'll never get that sub 30-cent XRP that you got during the 2022 bear market. And I believe that the setup is it's just a meme. We're going to play out the meme. The meme is that XRP goes below $1, that XRP is worth less than Ripple's stablecoin. Everybody gets to make fun of us before the next bull run begins. And that's XRP going below $1 one last time. That's your last chance to get it. And then it's gone forever. I know what I'm doing right now. We'll talk about that here in a second. But the AI bubble got a couple holes in it. And so South Korean stock market plunging by over 10%. This is crazy. They've already hit the circuit breaker 42 times this year, meaning that they've had to shut off the trading in their stock market because the major Korean index, the Kospi, keeps on crashing by over 5 to 10%. Every time it does this, they hit the circuit breaker 42 times. I mean, where would we be at if these markets weren't as rigged and manipulated as they are? And so the NASDAQ 100 rolling down here, officially entering correction territory again. Now, we did hit a full correction into March, right off of the January 2026 highs. February, March brought us back down as the Iran war started, and we actually entered a 12% drop. A full correction was entered back in March. But then the NASDAQ pumped back up to new all-time highs. And so some folks might see this as an opportunity. For me, I see significant risk in the AI trade at this point. By the way, let me be very clear. I'm very bullish on AI. I use AI every day. I have multiple agents. I'm actually obsessed. It's one of the things that I'm the most excited about right now is using AI to improve myself, my business, how I invest, how I do research, how I produce content. I love AI. Love it, love it, love it. I mean, do I have concerns? Of course. Now, the trade, though, and investing in the trade in these stocks, that's a different story. And so we're seeing the NASDAQ 100, which is tech heavy, that already rolled over. This is the SanDisk Corporation. I got a little SanDisk right here, right? All the play here, was going really well. And we had many people in our community that made a bunch of money on this one. This was a 10 bagger. This was a 15, 20 bagger for some people in our community. This thing went up to about 2,400. It's now swung back down over 55%. And that right there is the prime example that I worry about. It's just like on crypto, these stocks on the AI play, they ran hard. 10 baggers, 20 baggers. This can never end, right? You always feel that, whether it's crypto, whether it's stocks, it feels like it'll never end, and you never want to take profit. And then next thing you know, 55% drawdown over the course here of just a couple weeks. I mean, this is from June. This is literally the last month. 55% drop in the past month. For NVIDIA, you're down. You basically entered a bear market with a full 20% correction. Got a little bit of a bounce, but now we're coming back down. I mean, we're almost in a technical bear market for NVIDIA. And so the correction is here on the AI play. And I think that it's something that everybody that's invested in the stock market and the equity market has to have an honest conversation with themselves about how you're positioned over there in the equities. And I'm not suggesting that it's time to sell your equities and go to crypto or anything like that. I'm just concerned about how much downside risk is over there for the stock market, especially the AI play. Okay. Now, Citadel Securities, they put out this yesterday saying that they expect the Fed to raise interest rates this week. I don't see it. I'm interested to hear from you guys in the comments down below. I think that we have an interest rate decision coming out. Was that either tomorrow or Thursday? But this week we get the interest rate decision. You guys let me know. The market's pricing in no rate hike, no rate cut. And I think that in large part, that's what's going to happen. Most people feel that way. But the Federal Reserve, they get to hit the news cycle this week with their, trying to stay relevant. And we'll see what Kevin Warsh does. But excited to see some disruption and change. I would love to see an audit and an end to the Federal Reserve ultimately. But Kevin Warsh, we're watching. Cautiously optimistic. Maybe. I really don't have much faith in the institution or Kevin Warsh, but I'm trying to remain optimistic. Gallego. The last time we talked about Gallego, I mispronounced his name. My apologies. All due respect to Senator Gallego out of Arizona. Apparently, there's been no update on ethics. Legislators are finalizing text and trying to send bipartisan text to the White House in the next couple of days, Gallego said. So this was reported yesterday from Brennan Peterson from Punchbowl News. We already got the deal on ethics. It wasn't enough, according to the Democrats. And so now they're asking for more. And apparently they are working on some more. But we haven't seen an update. And now the Clarity Act vote has been pushed back. We're not getting it this week. So we're down to the final countdown next week before the Senate heads to recess on August 7th. In the House, the other chamber of Congress, the House, is out on recess at the end of this week. So even if the Senate passes it next week, we still have to reconcile the Senate version and the House version to make the same bill to send off to President Trump. And so we might be waiting till September. Even if the Senate were to vote next week on passing Clarity, we still have to reconcile with the House, get it off to President Trump. So wouldn't be holding my breath for this to be brought into law by next week. I don't even see the possibility of that happening, to be honest with you. And by the way, that's probably going to be one of the catalysts, combined with the Iran war and other issues, that could bring in that sub $1 XRP and the best times to buy during this bear market. So the Senate is now prioritizing nominations and a Russia sanctions bill, leaving crypto legislation unlikely to see floor time before next week at the earliest. Now, speaking of Russia, they just published draft regulations to establish organized crypto trading. So while we're figuring out how to apply new sanctions, figuring out ethics, and playing around with this DC dance, our enemies, our allies, everybody else is getting their Clarity Act done. We're just playing around. And I like this from MetaLawman. Huge shout out to James from MetaLawman. He says Trump can cancel Senate recess, and he should. I don't. Oh gosh. In 1989, the Department of Justice Office of Legal Counsel issued a formal legal opinion concluding that, quote, the president has the power to convene the Senate during the planned August recess. This opinion was issued 37 years ago, not dreamed up yesterday. This is nothing new. The president's authority to convene the Senate. This is from the 1989 Office of Legal Counsel. No way should these guys get a break. I don't take a break. One, I love what I do, so it doesn't feel like work. I do this Saturday, I do this Sunday. My wife has to pull me away from my work because I love it so much, right? But for these guys, they don't even show up 5 days a week. What are they doing? I mean, it's unbelievable. No, they shouldn't get a recess. And we should all be, whether you got a D or an R or however you identify, the representatives of the American people should be working. No, you don't get a break. No, it's ridiculous. They should all be brought back in. Oh man, I could say a lot more. I don't want to get myself too worked up this early in the morning. I told myself I was going to stay calm, cool, and collected. And here's the good news. Here's why we can. Is because they know that they have no option but to pass this. They look like fools. They're trying to talk about law enforcement not being able to do this. No, the blockchain technology allows you to see it all. They're talking about ethics. That's an absolute joke too. President Trump has agreed to the ethics. Without ethics, that's how the Trump family made all this money, without the Clarity Act. So if you want to stop the Trump family, pass the Clarity Act. Oh, but wait, you don't want the same ethics applied to you. You don't want the same scrutiny applied to you, only to Trump, only to Pelosi. If you got an R next to your name and that's how you identify, then we all target Pelosi. If you got a D next to your name and you do that dance, then we target Trump. How about we put America before your stupid party affiliation? How about that? I'm sick of these parties. I'm sick of the partisan politics. I'm disgusted with DC. Let's get back to being calm, cool, and collected, and here's why. SEC Chair Paul Atkins, quote, I'm optimistic that Congress will pass the Clarity Act. But he says the SEC is ready, willing, and able to come out with rules, either to implement the bill or if Congress fails to act, ultimately we need the certainty of a statute that will help future-proof so that we have clear direction going forward. So we've been talking about this. Because the text of the bill is out, right? The SEC, the CFTC, they've already started their rulemaking process. They have the text of the bill and kind of understand what the legislation is going to say, and they can start giving guidance. They can start delivering no action letters like they did to the DTCC, right? Gary Gensler's SEC tried to challenge XRP and lost in the court too. So we have legal precedent for XRP, and we have the rulemaking process, which has already begun for the SEC and CFTC, OCC as well, and then they're giving no action letters. So we will be moving forward regardless. And absolutely in the XRP Ledger ecosystem, we're perfectly positioned as AI agents fit perfectly into the XRP Ledger. Can't really say the same for Bitcoin. I don't know how well it would work on Ethereum or other, of these main chains, but XRP Ledger, perfectly positioned. Leveraging XRP payment channels plus low transaction costs, especially when multiple agents ping the system. Decentralized identity, a native feature, is being explored for AI agents on XRP. This is Vet interviewing Chandler Feng. If you missed the interview that I did with Chandler, the founder of T54 AI, go to my interview playlist on my YouTube channel. You can go find that interview. Very smart guy. Looking forward to getting him back on the show. Get the update. They've already done 1.5 million agent transactions on the XRP Ledger. So it's not only humans that are going to be locking up and burning XRP. It's going to be AI agents as well. And we got to ask ourselves, right? We look at, okay, where's Swift going to go? Where's DTCC going to settle up? Where's the CME going to move? Where's ACH going to flow through, right? You look at these different payment flows. One of the other ones that we've now added is the AI agents and the agentic economy. What blockchain are the agents going to work best on? And that's another, we add that to our addressable market, and we add that to the amount of users and the amount of XRP that will be locked up and burned when we're doing our calculations for future XRP value. Now, I think that we have significant higher values coming on these cryptos, which is why I am buying during this bear market. Yesterday, I gave a shout out to my personal broker at Caleb & Brown, Jake Boyle, for getting my orders on XLM and Hyperliquid filled. This follows up on getting my bags added to for Canton. And then I also added to my bags of ZBCN. But I am now officially back into XLM, which feels really good. I didn't have any exposure to XLM, and I didn't have any more exposure to Hyperliquid. I'd already traded out of Hyperliquid for about a 50% profit. Back in it. So very excited and very impressed with the team there at Caleb & Brown. My personal broker, Jake Boyle, is fantastic. They have many great people over there that can service you. So they're linked up down below, Caleb & Brown. And like I said, the days of having to worry about all this silly stuff with the exchanges, I just don't worry about that anymore. Like, investing in crypto for me is completely stress-free because I get treated like an institution. I get treated like an institutional client by the platforms and partners that we work with. And so that's a simple setup. I don't know why you guys are still struggling with some of these centralized exchanges that are running you through the ringer. You don't need to deal with that crap. I don't deal with that. I don't think about that anymore. Customer service, and I just call my broker. I email him directly. It's free institutional grade custody. I don't play around with this stuff. You shouldn't either. Yeah. Anyways, what we're doing is we're letting this bear market conclude. Yesterday, I titled the video XRP Violent Next Move. And it's because we think that the drop down here below $1 is going to be violent and quick. That's why I use the word violent. The reason why I put 75% is because we've already completed 72%. But this is going to be a 75% bear market drop if we go back down to the 88.90 cent level. You're talking about a 75% bear market drop, comparable to the 96% drop we did during the 2018 bear market, comparable to the 85% drop that we did during the 2022 bear market. And so this next bear market, if we're following the pattern, we went from 96 to 85% drop. A 75% drop sounds about right to me. Where does that take us on the chart? I want to be very clear. This is how these cycles play out. That's why we're just chilling. We're dollar cost averaging, letting this market play out, right? And then we're going to have fun again. We went up to $3.66. We went down to $1.01, right? And so down to 101 is a 72% drop. Okay, a 75% drop, you're at 90 cents. Right? This is where Cassie trades, other TA folks. It makes a lot of sense to me just from a psychological standpoint. You know $1 is a big support. You know if we go below $1, everybody and their brother is going to be throwing as much the last dollars that we have at this thing. Not just XRP, but other cryptos as well too. Like, we're just allocating all of the capital that we have right now. Not telling you what to do, just explaining what I'm doing and many people in our community are doing, because we see what happens. XRP draws down 90% and then pumps and gives you a 10-bagger. It drops by 85% and then gives you another 10-bagger. We're dropping. We already did drop 72%. If we go down to 90 cents, the full bear market low would be about 75% before XRP gives you another 10-bagger. It's not a guarantee. It's not financial advice. It's just history that's played out. And we ask ourselves, will it play out again? Let's take a look. From $1.01 is where I'm going to measure from. Let's just assume that that was the low. Let's assume that we don't even go that low, right? Well, if we go up to $10, that'd be an 894% move, basically a 900% move if you buy here at $1.01 and ride XRP back up to 10 cents this bull run. Now, a full 1,100% move puts us up above 12 to 13 bucks. But Zach, how could this happen? Well, it already did, as I showed you, right? Go all the way back here. Am I expecting another 61,000% pump like 2017? No. 96% drop. Am I expecting that? No. This market's mature. So we're not going to drop as much. We're not going to pump as much, which is exactly what history has showed us. XRP pumps 1,600% during the 2021 bull run, drops 85% during the 2022 bear market, pumps 1,160% during the 2024-2025 bull run, and then it drops 75% during this bear market. And then you get another 10 bagger, 10 to 13 bucks. I don't know what to say, guys. I'll be back live tonight at 10 p.m. Eastern. This setup's so simple to me. All this noise, all this distraction, the DC drama, it's all to keep you out. All manipulation. Just like they manipulate it to the downside and suppress these assets, they manipulate assets to the upside and overvalue them and pump up bubbles way bigger than they need to get. And as long as we're still dealing with these central bankers that manipulate the monetary policy, we're dealing with these fiat currencies that continue to get devalued, and we're dealing with governments that have to run huge deficits and continue to bloat their debt and blow up that debt, we're going to continue, and especially without Clarity Act, we're going to continue to have this manipulated market. As we get the Clarity Act, as we tighten things up, we enter an era of utility. And I think that XRP, whether or not it is the end all be all, it comes in to save the day and it goes to $1,000, I'm here for it, man. Let's have a good time. Yeah, ready. Your yacht, I'm not going to buy a yacht, but I'll come to your yacht, okay? And I'll bring the party. I would love for XRP to do that. But just going to $10, 900% return. Just going to $12 to $13, 1,100% return. It's something to call home about. It's something to write home about. Wouldn't be bad. And we just have to take what this market's going to give us, continue to fill up those orders, stuff it in free institutional grade custody, and call it a day. It's just that simple. Now, folks, I'm going to plug my sponsor real quick before we head out. If you guys have not checked out this platform, this is one of the best in the business right now. And one of few providers, actually, that can allow you to get your retirement funds into crypto and precious metals. That was a big reason why I partnered up with them, is because of the retirement product. And I got even more excited when they told me that you could get precious metals as well, too. So all of our favorite assets, and then next month, they're actually going to be adding stocks and ETFs, too. So you have everything in one account, in one platform. But you can open up multiple accounts with them: the IRA product for your retirement funds, the premium custody account for free institutional grade custody, and the treasury account for your business, your LLC, your trust, your nonprofit. You shouldn't be dealing with any hassle. If you're dealing with any hassle by anybody, stop. You shouldn't be dealing with that nonsense in 2026. You should be getting treated like an institutional client. These platforms want your business. That's why that's why they're trying to treat our community so well. Right. And so I hear these stories. I'm seeing exchanges shut down. I'm hearing stories. People can't get their money out of exchanges. People can't get their money out of other platforms. I'm hearing a lot of concerning things right now. Couldn't be me. Why are you still dealing with that crap? Beyond me. I kind of feel a way about it because it's just silly. We're 2026, man. Free institutional grade custody. Why are you paying AUM fees? Stop playing around out here. Stop getting treated like that. Stop being pull your support ticket and wait in line to get customer support. No. Pick up the phone. Send an email. The platforms that we work with, they're going to start treating you like an institution today. No more games, no more playing around. So anyways, we're going to be back live tonight at 10 p.m. Eastern. If you appreciate our content, please help us by liking, hyping, sharing it out far and wide. All of our community resources are down below. And when you use our links, when you use our resources, it does support the show. We greatly appreciate it, okay? And take advantage of that $100 funding bonus too that iTrust Capital is offering. Use my link, get your account funded, get an extra $100, okay? See you tonight at 10 p.m. Eastern. God bless.